I hope I'm recording and I hope I'm not too dark because I'm getting really fucking fed up with this. Hello everyone, my name is Tímea and welcome back to my channel where we talk about Hungarian true crime cases, murders, mysteries and conspiracies. So if you like this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share with a friend you think would also enjoy. You can also follow me on Instagram if you are interested in my very uneventful life, where I just post about my paintings and my furniture flips and the cats in the neighborhood. So, today's case is going to be a little bit different because I expect it to be shorter than the rest. Also, there is pretty much no information on this case. It's just gonna be me rambling and ranting for a long time about not knowing who the killer is. And most importantly, it hits very close to home for me because this happened in my hometown of Szentendre, so let's just get right into it. On the 17th of August 1947, a group of 6 hikers went on a hiking trail between Pomáz and Szentendre. And this trail led all the way up to Bölcső Hill or Bölcső-hegy, and in the middle of it there was a freshwater spring called Kékvízforrás or Kékvíz Spring. And they stopped there to freshen up, to drink some water, to eat some food and relax in the middle of their hike, and that's when they spotted a topless man. Now, if you are a hiker, you may know that sometimes hikers like to chit-chat with other people that they come across on the hiking trail, so they started talking to this man. However, this man didn't speak any Hungarian at all. This is very unusual even nowadays that you would meet somebody who doesn't speak any Hungarian in a 100% Hungarian populated area. So you definitely don't see a lot of foreigners here, especially not in a hiking trail, which is very known only amongst the locals. Either way, they talk with him in German. Now, this man said that he was an escaped German SS soldier who ran away from a military prison camp from near Magdeburg, and he came all the way to Hungary. And he started asking the hikers about the political situation in Hungary and the living conditions. And then suddenly, in the middle of this chat, he just whips out a loaded gun and shoots 2 of the hikers. It was a married couple. The husband was shot in the head and died instantly, and the wife was shot elsewhere and she died just a little bit later. But either way, the other 4 hikers were able to survive because one of them had a it's called fokos in Hungarian, and it looks like a very small, lightweight axe with a really small head and a not very sharp of a blade. And it's mostly used for decoration on the wall, or if anything, it's really more like a decorative weapon. It's not really used for anything. But either way, this man had it with him and he threw it in the general direction of the soldier, who got scared and ran away. At that time, we didn't have cell phones, so from the middle of the forest you weren't able to call the police to come to you. Besides, there was no emergency line. So these 4 survivors had to walk all the way back to Szentendre to the police station and let them know about this incident. Of course, the police came and they started investigating right away. The second murder took place the next day on the 18th of August 1947. There was a man who owned a tiny lodge, like a little house in the forest with some field, and he had some domestic animals there, like chickens, not very big ones, of course. And he had a son, and he invited 4 of his son's friends to come over to take care of the animals and this lodge while he was away. It wasn't very clear to me from the sources if the son was part of these 5 boys or if it was 5 friends of the son and the son wasn't there himself. I think the first one would make more sense. But either way, there were these 5 teenage boys, all in their 14, 15 years old. This man came home and he saw all of these 5 boys murdered, just laying on the ground. One of them was fatally wounded but still alive to give a description of the killer. And when the police came to investigate, they realized that the description was the same as of the previous day's murder. So the police started investigating and they collaborated with the Hungarian army as well as the Soviet army to join forces and try to catch this mysterious escaped soldier killing people in the forest. They searched the Danube River, the riverbank, the valleys, the mountains, the forests everywhere. They searched every cave where somebody could have hidden. And in one of the caves called Macskajuk or cat hole, they actually found abandoned beds and canned food and stuff like that. But there was nobody inside. Also, when these kind of creepy, mysterious, but exciting things happen, a lot of people want to chip in just to be part of this piece of history. So they give false information and fake tips to the police just so that they can say that they were part of it. So that's what many people did in the villages. A lot of people came forward with fake information that they knew who this killer was and that they have met this person. But again, these were all deemed fake by the police. The other thing is that during the World Wars, many times escaped soldiers would roam and raid villages. They would steal food, steal animals, sometimes rape women, or just make their way into people's homes and stay there. And it's entirely possible that this happened, and that was a common occurrence. However, there was no evidence that that happened here, in this part of country at this time. There was absolutely no evidence to show that there was a soldier or a group of soldiers roaming this part of the country at all. So the police never caught anybody. This is still an open and cold case, and there is absolutely no information on anything at all. Now that is that for the facts. Let's talk about some contradictions and theories. It is possible that this alleged German soldier wasn't even German at all. Just because somebody says that they are German and they speak German, it is entirely possible that they just learned that language and they are able to claim that nationality. But this person could have been, for example, a Soviet soldier. That is much more likely because a lot of Soviet soldiers were stationed here. Why would have this German soldier escape all the way from Magdeburg to come to Hungary, further away from his home country? Isn't it more possible that a Soviet soldier escaped a Hungarian prison camp and was on the way back to the Soviet Union? And this claim is also supported by the testimonies from the villagers that they regularly had Soviet soldiers raiding them, but not German soldiers. So where does this German soldier claim even come from? In the end of the Second World War, at that time, the Communist Party in Hungary was on the rise, and they had the media in their hands. And it would have looked extremely bad on them if Soviet soldiers were committing crimes against Hungarians. So it is very likely that the party did not allow the media to report on this case in detail, and they even probably changed the facts. They said that this was a German soldier who was the Soviets' enemy, instead of a Soviet soldier, which would have looked very bad on them. And just to demonstrate how much the Communist Party controlled the media, this newspaper clipping refers to the 7 victims as good workers, because being a good worker is all that matters in communism, right? And the second article literally reports on fake news, claiming that the police caught the killer in September that year, which we know to be false, but it was not in the interest of the party to let the people know about the truth. The other contradiction is that it was summer, the weather was warm, there was no drought, no flood, and the nature was abundant in food and natural resources. These soldiers who are on the run, walking on foot across Europe back to their home countries, they would make the best use of these great conditions to walk as far as they possibly can. It was not typical of these escaped soldiers to stay in a place for weeks or even for days at a time. They would walk every day as far as they could before the winter comes, right? So that alone kind of contradicts why this soldier would have killed people so close in time and space. But okay, there may have been a German or a Soviet soldier, even though it kind of doesn't make sense that they would stay in this place for this long. But then, what would be this soldier's motive to kill people in the first place? It definitely wasn't typical of soldiers to kill civilians without any motive. Honestly, these people were just hikers. They didn't have anything on them. They didn't have anything for this soldier to rob or take from them. Why would he kill just 2 people and then those bunch of teenager boys who absolutely had nothing that this soldier could take? What was his motive to kill them? Unless he was a psychopath who enjoyed murdering people for fun, I fail to see a motive for somebody to kill them. But we have seen a bunch of murder cases that are completely senseless and they didn't even have a good motive to start with. The last thing that doesn't make sense to me is that there is this strong soldier with a loaded gun in his hand, and he has seen death, and he probably himself have murdered dozens of people in the battlefield. Why the fuck would he go to a popular hiking trail where he can be seen by anybody killing these, or attempting to kill these 6 hikers, but then only kill 2 of them, and then leave the other 4 witnesses behind who are going to go and testify against him? Or even worse, those 4 people single-handedly could have overpowered this single soldier. Why was he even trying to get at them? I don't know. And he has this working loaded gun in his hand. He kills 2 of them, but then he doesn't kill the other 4 because there is a tiny axe thrown in his general direction that probably wouldn't even have hit him, or if it had hit him, it couldn't have wounded him at all. Like, it wouldn't have given him a serious injury. Why was it enough for this soldier to run away holding a gun in his hand from an axe? I don't know. That doesn't make sense. And the other thing, what was his reason to kill those 5 defenseless boys who were just working there, taking care of animals? How did he even find them? See, these 2 I think I forgot to say that these 2 murder scenes were only 2 kilometers away from each other. So like 1 mile. And the next day, like less than 24 hours apart. Why would he commit a double murder and then leave 4 witnesses to just then only go 2 kilometers away, less than 1 day later, and kill another 5 boys, leaving a bunch of evidence against him, leaving witnesses to testify what he looked like? Why would have he done that? I have a theory, but I may be completely wrong. Isn't it possible that those 2 hikers were killed by their own 4 friends who conspired and coaxed them to come to this hiking trail under the pretense that they were gonna have a nice hiking day, and they would just kill them and then come up with this imaginary story of this soldier? And who would have known about those 5 boys working on the land, if not the owner or the family or friend or somebody close to one of those boys? Who would have known that they were gonna be in the middle of the forest in a very isolated little lodge? Isn't it possible that these were 2 different separate murders which just happened to coincide because they were so close in time and space? I don't know. What do you think? Could have it been a soldier? Was it a German soldier or a Soviet soldier? Was it the 4 hikers that killed and then a separate murderer that killed those boys? Or could have it been an entirely different person that we haven't even thought of? I don't know. What do you think? Nothing really makes sense to me. I don't know who the killer could have been. I don't know the motive. I don't know why he would leave so many witnesses behind. Why he would do it in such a short time and space. Just nothing makes sense, and I'm so angry at this case, and I will probably never know. Either way, let me know your theories and ideas in the comment section, and if you like this kind of video where I'm just ranting for 10 minutes straight, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to check out my Instagram if you are interested in boring things, and thank you so much for watching. Bye! I look into your eyes. How long am I?